Hi, welcome to clickmeproject.com. This video will lead us to assessment of the risk factors of coronary heart events based on data mining with decision tree. In this process, we are going to develop a data mining system for the assessment of risk factors of coronary heart event in order to reduce the occurrence of CHT events. Coronary cardiovascular disease is one of the most important key issues of incapacity in adults in the developed countries. The events investigated were myocardial infarct, percutaneous coronary intervention, and arterial bypass graft surgery. The foremost necessary risk factor as extracted from the classification rule analysis were for MY, we extract age, smoking and history of cardiovascular disease, and for PCI we extract history of hypertension, case history and history of diabetes, and for CAB we extract age, history of cardiovascular disease and smoking. The data processing may facilitate to identify the level of risk and the causal factor for the choice of therapy, that is medical or surgical. Also, we implement pruning techniques in order to reduce the learning complexity. Now we are going to see the process flow. First, we select the medical data set as an input. Then we load the selected data set into the database. After loading the data set, we clean the data set by removing unwanted data and error data. Also, we remove the redundant data from the data set. After data cleaning, we analyze the risk factors from the data set. Then we classify the data set based on the risk factors. After classification, we calculate the information of whole data set D. Then we calculate entropy for attributes AJ. After calculating the entropy, we compute information gain for all attributes AJ. Then we compute Gini index and T-squared for all the attributes AG. After calculating these values, we select the best split point with highest information gain as a root node. Then we repeat the above process until the decision tree reaches the leaf node. After constructing the decision tree, we implement the pruning algorithm. Then we fix the threshold value for pruning. Then we prune the information gain for data set. After pruning, we construct the decision tree based on the pruned attributes. Now we are going to see the demo of the whole process. To start the process, first run loadingds.java. First we are going to select the data set. Here I am selecting the data set patientrec.txt. Then we are going to insert the selected data set into the database. After inserting the data set, we are going to view the data set. Then we are going to pre-process the data set. First, we remove unwanted cases from the data set. After, we remove redundant data from the data set in order to reduce the size of the data set. Here, we are going to view the pre-processed data set. Then we are going to classify the events from the data set. First, we are extracting the risk factors from the data set. Here I am extracting age, sex, family history, smoking, history of diabetes, hypertension and tuberculosis as a risk factor. Then we are going to classify the risk factor for MI, then for PCI and then for CAB. After classifying the risk factors, we are going to calculate the information gain. Here I am first calculating info of whole data set D based on the class variables. Then I am going to evaluate the information of attributes in the data set. Then we are going to calculate the Gini index. First I am calculating Gini of whole data set D. And we are calculating Gini index of data set D. Then we are going to calculate the chi-squared for attributes in the data set. Then we are going to calculate the gain ratio. First, I am calculating split info of attributes in the data set. Then, I am calculating the gain ratio of each attribute in the data set. Now we are going to measure the distance between each attribute in the data set. First, we are measuring the distance of each attribute in the data set and displaying the result in the text area. Then, we are going to implement the pruning techniques. First, we are fixing a threshold value for pruning. Then, pruning the attributes which has lesser value than the threshold. Here, the values before pruning is displayed in the first text area and the attributes after pruning is displayed in the text area too. Then we are going to construct the decision tree for all the three events. First, we are constructing the decision tree for MI. Here, we have classified the decision tree based on such conditions and displaying the leaf node as a result. Here, 6 members in class A and 3 members in class B under the conditions. Likewise, we classify each conditions in the data set. Then we are going to view the decision tree for PCI. Here also we classify the decision tree based on the risk factors. Also, we are going to view the decision tree for CAB. The tree is classified under the conditions CAB. In this tree, we classify the attributes based on the risk factors of coronary artery bypass graft surgery. Also, we are going to see the pruned tree for all the events. Here, first I am viewing the tree for MI. Here, the values under the threshold is pruned and finally the height of the tree is reduced like this. Then we are going to view the pruned tree of PCI. Here, the values under the threshold value is pruned and the final tree will be displayed like this. The same as we are going to prune the attributes in the coronary artery bypass graft surgery. After constructing the tree for all the three events, we are going to evaluate the performance of pruning technique. Here, the graph shows the number of entropy calculation is considerably reduced due to the pruning techniques than the tree without pruning. Thanks for watching us.